Good evening, and welcome to BlankSpace. This is an emergency segment video on the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. I threw it together for you guys to give you an update on such important events, as we haven't seen an assassination attempt in almost 40 years on a presidential candidate since Ronald Reagan. Trump's survival was unbelievable. He's a very lucky man. This was my initial reaction, about 15 minutes after I heard the news. So this is absolutely just crazy. President Trump, former President Trump, has just been shot. I want to update everybody. He is alive. He was very lucky. The bullet pierced his ear. But this is absolutely crazy. He was at a rally, just doing his thing like he normally does at every rally. And then you heard the gunshots. A member of the audience was killed. His ear was shot. And he dropped to the ground. Secret Service took the guy down. And his name was Thomas Matthews Crooks. And this took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, it's just, I'm blown away. The fact that an assassination attempt happened on our former president and the current Republican candidate, it just blows me away. I'm literally stunned right now. But I wanted to update everybody. This is a special video. If you want to see the whole thing, you can watch it on my YouTube channel at BlankSpace Casting on YouTube. But, I mean, this man is so lucky. The bullet was a half inch away from hitting him right in the head. We just about lost Donald Trump. And regardless if you agree with Trump or you're voting Biden or what you've heard, this is sad if it happens to any human being. It is just absolutely ridiculous. I just can't believe that people are still resorting to this type of behavior in the United States in this day and age. But I guess, Biden must be doing pretty bad if people think that's their only option is to take Trump out. I mean, I don't really support either candidate, but this is just shocking and it's sad, and let's pray for them and be with their families and of the people shot in the audience, and pray for Trump and his family. But this is absolutely absurd. I'm literally still blown away. I almost don't even know what to say. And I always know what to say. News is still coming in. The headlines are that it was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. And I have to say, from the sounds of it, God voted Trump today. Because that man shouldn't be alive. There was 6 shots, only one hit him, and it hit him right here in the ear. Unbelievable. Like I say, if you want to see my entire report on this and the rest of the video, check it out on YouTube. Thank you. Be safe, and God bless. So as you can see, folks, I was utterly shocked. And so much so that I almost didn't even know what to say. I was just absorbing information and racing to give you guys the update as quickly as possible. Immediately after that video, I began putting together this episode so that you can see the event taking place and stay up to date on 100% accurate reporting and information. We use only reliable sources here, so no fake news. Former President Trump and a Republican candidate dropped to the ground His ear was wounded, as I said in the previous video that I shot earlier today. But further details on President Joe Biden's response, the aftermath of the event itself, and the reactions on social media when thousands of videos began flooding in from all the rally supporters that were there, as well as comments from Donald Trump himself. He's already been released from the hospital and is in New Jersey now. He does plan, interestingly, when he was carried to his motorcade, it was half walking and carried actually, he raised his fists and started saying, USA, USA, USA. He obviously proved today he's stronger than his enemies. And luckier, I would say too. Not only is he stronger than his enemies, and luckier, he's braver as well. He does plan on attending the presidential candidate convention coming up on Monday. Biden's response was purely for face value and filled with a bit of confusion as he shuffled off stage by himself. At least he didn't need former President Obama to hold his hand this time. While both candidates did react differently today, as Trump showed strength and Biden showed Biden, they are both going to be meeting tomorrow at the presidential candidate convention, and they're going to want to get the crowds riled up, but they're going to have to show restraint in order to ease the rhetoric. When people start climbing roofs with rifles at rallies to shoot somebody because of the political rhetoric, it's going too far. Things are heated up. So they're going to have to try to excite their bases without applying too much heat. That's going to be interesting. Let's check out the latest.
Started out like any other rally, but it ended with Donald Trump lucky to be alive, rushed to safety by Secret Service agents after an attempted assassination. Witnesses say they saw a gunman on a nearby roof before multiple shots rang out, supporters screaming and ducking for cover. Another person at the rally was killed. 2 more are tonight in a critical condition. The gunman, a 20-year-old local man, was shot dead by the Secret Service. Nine's US correspondent Jonathan Kersley is in Pennsylvania and he begins our coverage.
An open-air rally, Donald Trump mid-speech, and a shooter takes aim.
Take a look at what happened.
Multiple shots and the former president drops to the ground as screams ring out from the crowd. Secret Service agents take control. Phone vision shows a police sniper. He shoots the would-be assassin dead. It's then agents decide it's safe to move.
Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move. We're clear.
Donald Trump has been shot in the ear, all in full view of his supporters. Agents are frantic, trying to get him to safety. Donald Trump then gets to his feet.
Let me get my shoes.
Then, what will be a defining image of the assassination attempt? This photo. Trump, his ear bleeding, defiant, behind the stars and stripes. Ringed by his agents, his fist pumping. Trump repeatedly shouts, "Fight!" The crowd have watched someone try to kill him, and they respond with a rallying cry. Trump is part walked, part carried to his armoured car. He turns, fist still in the air, to acknowledge the crowd.
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, "He's been shot, he's been shot." I said, "I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you."
After he was taken to a hospital, Donald Trump released this statement. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong, in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realised then what was happening. The gunman was on a rooftop outside the rally venue, around 130 metres from where Trump was standing. The police sniper on a roof just behind the former president. There are questions as to how the shooter got onto the roof with a rifle and given a clear shot. Phone video appears to show one person shouting moments before the firing started.
He's going down!
While the shooter was getting in position, most of the crowd was oblivious as to what was about to unfold.
Everyone is smiling. There's no negativity. There's no fighting. There's no protesting. It's just beautiful.
15 minutes into Trump's speech, the gunman opens fire.
Take a look at what happened.
Within minutes, social media flooded by thousands of videos. The bullets that whistled past Trump's head struck 3 people in the stands behind him.
Their shots were scattered somewhat, and so they weren't just into one particular location.
1 man was killed, 2 critically injured.
Put my hand on the guy's head that was profusely bleeding.
Who was it? Do you know?
President Joe Biden was at church in Delaware when the shooting happened. He later spoke with Trump on the phone.
Thanks for coming, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. So far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried, President, safety? With the security failing, Mr. President?
Now, clearly Biden's not going to lose any sleep over this, except for the fact that now Trump is probably most certainly to win, considering he's going to get more votes as a hero now even than he did before. But I thought it was interesting, one thing, when Biden exits the stage, he's shuffling away, and a couple seconds afterwards, one of the Secret Service guys crosses the stage and goes out the other side. I can't help but wonder if Joe Biden was supposed to meet him on the other side of the stage when he exited instead of going out the side of the stage that he entered on, but no one knows for sure. The gunman has been identified by FBI and further details are coming in. Let's take a look.
The FBI has now identified the gunman as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. 6 hours after the shooting, Donald Trump arrived in New Jersey, walking from his plane unaided, his supporters seizing on his brush with death. One Republican senator wrote that God protected President Trump. The North Dakota governor going further, "We all know President Trump is stronger than his enemies. Today, he showed it." Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
Once again, I'd say most certainly that whether you believe in God or Allah or just the spirit of the universe, whatever it is, gave Trump the biggest vote of all today, no doubt. Just a couple centimeters and that bullet would have hit him right in the head. He would be gone. We would have lost Donald Trump today. And he definitely got the vote from the big guy, in my opinion. Now, to me, it's absolutely disgusting that someone would resort to an assassination attempt over political differences. In fact, in this day and age, especially in the United States, I would have expected us to be past that by now. But, alas, we have had a long history of assassination attempts on presidential candidates and presidents themselves. Here's more on that story.
The United States has a long and dark history of attempts on the lives of presidents and other prominent public figures. Today's attack, the latest in that list, which dates all the way back to Abraham Lincoln more than 150 years ago.
In a nation so often divided, it's a sad, shared, unifying pain.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Abraham Lincoln was the first US president to be assassinated in 1865, having already survived an attempt on his life. 16 years later, President James Garfield was shot in the back. 20 years after that, President William McKinley. Then, in 1963.
And Mr. Kennedy, radiant in that pink outfit.
A horror broadcast around the world.
There has been an attempt, as perhaps you know now, on the life of President Kennedy.
The president dead, Lyndon Johnson, sworn in aboard Air Force One. He had served for 5 years as war in Vietnam and civil rights at home further divided America. Martin Luther King was killed. Bobby Kennedy assassinated during presidential primaries. His son this year is running against Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
We're all Americans. We're better than this. This isn't the way that we want our country to look to our children, to look to people around the world.
Kim Hoggard was working for Ronald Reagan when he was shot. Press Secretary James Brady left wheelchair-bound.
After the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan, security was ramped up exponentially. It made it very difficult for him to do the things that he wanted to do.
The president would romp to victory 3 years later.
You can't live scared.
Well, folks, that's it for the segment at this point. I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for me. And most of all, thank you for watching. I'll continue to keep you updated on facts as they come in. There's new details being released every day at this point. I'm sure we're going to find out more and more about this story. So I'll do my best to keep you posted. And of course, stay tuned for our next weekly episode of the latest news headlines. I usually release the episode every Saturday in the Philippines. So Friday if you're in the United States. So thank you for watching and tuning in to BlankSpace, where my space is your space too. Good night, everybody.